I own a tree, if one can do such a thing. It's at my home in Green Bay. It's a unique and special tree that I love. It's a giant oak tree, maybe 50 feet high. That's 5 stories high if you're into buildings. If Danielle and I linked arms, we couldn't reach around the trunk. Its canopy of leaves creates a sun shield for our house in the summer. Its leaves are the last to fall in the winter, often after the first snow. Every few years, it produces such a large batch of acorns that it sounds like there is a heavy rain as they hit the roof and cover an area several inches thick. The tree abuts our house, and for that, Danielle hates this tree. She fears in every storm it will fall and kill us all. I say it will be standing there in 100 years. Still, because of her fear, I asked a tree removal guy how much it would cost to take it away. The quote was $6,000. So, 100 years it is. And I bring this up because outside of my love for this tree and my ownership of it, there are roughly 40 billion oak trees in North America. Source ChatGPT, so probably made up. So really nothing special, yet in the tiny little island of Praslin, alone in the middle of the Indian Ocean, is one of the most amazing trees in the world. Maybe the most amazing. Sorry, giant sequoia. Again, Praslin is a tiny granite island, 5 miles long, 3 miles wide. So how could it have a miracle tree? Because it is broken off from Gondwana land 200 million years ago, and because it's so isolated, 1,000 miles from any continent, and in an area of heavy rainfall and rich soil, and because evolution is amazing, one of the true freaks of nature has evolved. I'm not sure why no one knows of this plant. Maybe it's the stupid French name it has, Coco de Mer, coconut of the sea. Yawn. Imagine if the first explorers that came upon a peacock said, I don't know, let's just call it land bird. Marketing matters. Anyway, I have pictures attached, but it's hard to truly appreciate the gigantism that comes with this tree based on two-dimensional pictures. Firstly, its nut. The coconut of the sea has been found washed up on shores around the Indian Ocean for centuries before the Seychelles Islands were even discovered. It was prized not for its fruit, which I guess isn't good, but for its size and shape. It's so rare and weird that the ancients thought it came from a tree at the bottom of the ocean. It's the world's largest nut. It would take just under 25,000 acorns for my tree to equal the weight of an average coconut of the sea, 50 pounds. But the heaviest recorded was nearly 100 pounds. That's 50,000 acorns for those of you bad at math. Imagine that dropping in your head, which you can only imagine as the nuts only fall at night. What's even weirder and why it's called the love nut is that it looks like, well, a lady's package, front and back. And because the world is weird and nature is hilarious, the male fruit looks exactly like a man's noodle. If a man's noodle were 3 feet long and a man decided to put gold stickers all over his noodle, which I guess if your noodle was 3 feet long, you'd want to put gold stickers on it. The leaves are the size of a roof, 20 feet long and 10 feet wide, and can live for 50 years. The oldest living leaf. The tree is also non-binary. It doesn't decide if it's going to be a male or a female till it's 25 years old. The tree is big too, typically growing over 100 feet tall, 10-story building. But the tallest on record is twice that, or 4 times the height of my simple oak tree. They are also the oldest of palms. Estimates are that the largest are over 500 years old. One of the original explorers of the Seychelles decided that Praslin must be the biblical Garden of Eden, as the fruit must be the forbidden fruit. I mean, almost every place I've been to the last 5 years thinks that they are the Garden of Eden, but man, that fruit, those trees, who knows? Anyway, Danielle and I spent a lovely morning walking through the de Mer, one of the smallest UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 40 acres, with a $100 guide. Everything in Seychelles seems to cost $100. Hey, heroin doesn't grow on trees. Learning all about these trees. It was a prehistoric little park, as you can see from behind me, with not only the monster Coco de Mer, but unique ferns and palms whose lineage dates back hundreds of millions of years. There's a famous black parrot that also lives only only on Praslin that our guide swore we saw, but really it was just a flash of black against the sky. He kept telling us how lucky we were to have seen it, but I think it was a ploy for a bigger tip. There was not much else in the jungle, a little rat creature the French brought in, hoping to create an ecological crisis, some lizards and other birds, but this display was mostly botanical. We had an entirely enjoyable little adventure and then went back to our little hut and basked in the sunshine. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the map and then some of the pictures. Okay, and here we go with the Seychelles. Again, those of you that are geography nerds, Seychelles are right here. Some of you have heard of the Maldives. The Maldives are way up here. The Maldives are close to India, and the Seychelles much closer to Africa. Here's Madagascar, Mauritius with the famous underwater waterfall. Reunion Island, which is where I tried to get Danielle to go, which is where they have the you're most likely to get killed and eaten by a shark in the world. Right here is the British Indian Ocean Territory, which they've just announced. It was a place that was forbidden to go to, secret military base. The Brits have announced they're leaving, so opportunity to explore. All right, let's zoom in on the Maldives. Here we go. Mighty Mahi. And here's Praslin. And over here is Ladik, which we'll be going to tomorrow. And the big jungle is right in the middle there. Okay. And let's take a look at some pictures. Do, 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 do. Okay, here's sunrise from the porch of our little bungalow. Here's the Val de Mer, very much like a jungle. The nut of love. It's a little bit obscene. Oh, come on, nature. It is the male part of the tree. The seeds were so heavy it made Danielle have a weird smile. Danielle is holding the nut, and I have the casing from which the nut comes. It's crazy how heavy they are. This is what falls out of the tree and smashes. But if you're walking along in the middle of the night in the jungle, you get what you were looking for. This is a fallen Coco de Mer. Each little hole you can see here is the structure from which shoots grow out and combine into a 200-foot tall tree. So it's not like a big, thick trunk like you're used to the Western ones. These are all little shoots. And here you go. You get hundreds of these shoots that form together and create this giant tree. Whoops. You can see there's a little lizard on one of the shoots here. The nuts take 10 years to grow, but there's lots of them, as you can see. Look at that leaf. Cover your whole house if you want. This is a lizard of some kind. Here's the little French rat that they intentionally brought in. Here's a pretty bird, but not a black pigeon, which we didn't really see. The rocks, the trees, the granite. It's really silly how pretty it is. Danielle makes it prettier. Danielle and I had a debate about whether snails are cute or disgusting. Anything that leaves a trail of slime, I have in my disgusting pile, though yummy with enough garlic and butter. Lots of crabs around as well. I think one can have the same debate. I'm going to say one crab cute, 50 crabs terrifying, also delicious with garlic and butter. And our day ends watching the moon outside of our little bungalow. Well, that's all for today, everybody. Thanks for stopping. We'll have some more tomorrow.